مطلعه كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله، فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه، فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي، فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك راهية طيبة كأنها راهية جد رسول الله، فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء، فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال عليك السلام يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء، فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك، فدخل معه تحت الكساء، فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه، فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي، فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها راهية جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله، فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء، فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه والسلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء، فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع عمتي قد أذنت لك، فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب فقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله، فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين، فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك راهية طيبة كأنها راهية أخي وابن أمي رسول الله، فقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء، فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا أبا يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء، قال له عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيجي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي قد أذنت لك، فدخل علي تحت الكساء.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء، قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بزعتي قد أذنت لك، فدخلت تحت الكساء، فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ بي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وعوما بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يعلمني ما يعلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم، أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن آذاهم ومحب لمن أحبهم، إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماوات إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنية ولا عرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء.
صل على محمد.
فقال له جبريل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال جبريل يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك، فهبط الأمين جبريل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى، يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنية ولا عرضا مدهية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه قل نعم قد أذنت لك فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء.
اللهم صل على محمد.
فقال لي أمين الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد.
فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفي حجم من شيتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفظ بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال عليهم عز الله فزنا وفاز شيتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفي حجم من شيتنا ومحبين وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله همه ولا تعرف حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
بواز بلند نعرے سلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم
صل على محمد وآل محمد.
پیش کر رہا ہوں. در ہے در پہ جو بادی دائے تر آتے ہیں. در ہے در پہ جو بادی دائے تر آتے ہیں. ان کے دامن گلے امید سے بھر جاتے ہیں. ان کے دامن گلے امید سے بھر جاتے ہیں. مدھے در میں تو ملتے نہیں الفاظ ہمیں. مدھے در میں تو ملتے نہیں الفاظ ہمیں. لوگ کہتے ہیں کہ ہم حد سے گزر جاتے ہیں. لوگ کہتے ہیں کہ ہم حد سے گزر جاتے ہیں. در ہے در پہ جو بادی دائے تر آتے ہیں.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
ایک اور بات پیش کر رہا ہوں. میں نے اظہار مودت کو نیا موڑ دیا. میں نے اظہار مودت کو نیا موڑ دیا. مدح کی راہ میں ایک اپنا چھوڑ دیا مدح کی راہ میں ایک اپنا نشان چھوڑ دیا میں نے چاہا تھا بعنوان وفا کچھ لکھوں میں نے چاہا تھا بعنوان وفا کچھ لکھوں میں نے عباس لکھا اور قلم میں نے عباس لکھا اور قلم توڑ دیا میں نے اظہار مودت کو نیا موڑ دیا لہد میں جب کہ سونا ہوگا آغوش لہد میں جب کہ سونا ہوگا جز خاک نہ تکیا نہ بچھونا ہوگا جز خاک نہ تکیا نہ بچھونا ہوگا تنہائی میں کون ہوے گانی تنہائی میں کون ہوے گانی ہم ہوئیں گے اور قبر کا ہونا ہوگا آغوش لہد میں جب کہ سونا ہوگا آغوش لہد میں امان جو پوشاک ولاد و زینب اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب دیکھی امان جو پوشاک ولاد و زینب اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب آج مقتل میں فقط بات تمہاری ہوگی ابھی اماں سے ملاقات ہماری ہوگی ابھی اماں سے ملاقات ہماری ہوگی کوئی پیغام اگر ہے تو سنا دو زینب اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب دیکھی اماں نے جو پوشاک بلا دو زینب اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب ہاتھ پابند رسن بہن تمہارے ہوں گے مجھ کو رہ کے خیال آتا ہے لاشے سے میرے مجھ کو رہ کے خیال آتا ہے لاشے سے میرے تیر کس طرح نکالو گی بتا دو زینب اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب بیٹی اماں نے جو پوشاک بلا دو زینب اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب میرے لاشے کی رہے گی تمہیں پہچان بہن چاک کر دو میرے کرتے کا گریبان بہن چاک کر دو میرے کرتے کا گریبان بہن کوئی لوٹے نہ اسے ایسا بنا دو زینب اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب دی تھی اماں نے جو پوشاک وہ لا دو زینب، اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب، قید خانے کی سنبھالو یہ امانت بی بی، گود میں لو اس مظلوم ہو رخصت بی بی، گود میں لو اس مظلوم ہو رخصت بی بی، میرا دامن میری بچی سے چھڑا دو زینب، اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب، دی تھی اماں نے جو پوشاک وہ لا دو زینب، اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب، سامنے اپنے اتروا لو سکینہ سے گوہر، ابھی کچھ دیر میں لٹ جائے گا مظلوم کا گھر، ابھی کچھ دیر میں لٹ جائے گا مظلوم کا گھر، یہ امانت کسی گوشے میں چھپا دو زینب، اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب، دی تھی اماں نے جو پوشاک وہ لا دو زینب، اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب، مار آنے کو خیمے سے میں کہتا تم کو، ہوتے عباس تو تکلیف نہ دیتا تم کو، ہوتے عباس تو تکلیف نہ دیتا تم کو، بن کے عباس مجھے زین پہ بٹھا دو زینب، اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب، دی تھی اماں نے جو پوشاک وہ لا دو زینب، اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب، گھر سے شبیر جنازے کی طرح سے نکلے، سبھی روتے تھے تکلم در خیمہ پہ کھڑے، جب سبھی روتے تھے تکلم در خیمہ پہ کھڑے، شہ نے جس دم کہا مرنے کی رضا دو زینب، اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب، دی تھی اماں نے جو پوشاک وہ لا دو زینب، اپنے ہاتھوں سے کفن مجھ کو پہنا دو زینب،
اللهم صل على محمد.
ہاشم بھائی ٹائم نہیں پلیز آئیے کیونکہ پھر بڑھتا جاتا ہے ٹائم کا، ہم نماز تھوڑا اور پڑھ لیں تک مستقی
محمد والے محمد صلوات نعرہ صلوات کیمرے کے سامنے پہلی دفعہ پڑھ رہا ہوں تو استاد نروس ہو گیا، استاد صاحب دیکھ رہے ہیں، محمد والے محمد صلوات
جنگل میں آ کے سوئے
جزاک اللہ جزاک اللہ
ایک دفعہ سورہ فاتحہ بسم اللہ الرحمن محمد علیہ محمد امت بے سر اپنے پیدا کرتی ہے سینے سے دل و جان کو جدا کرتی ہے بے سر یاد خدا کرتی ہے جو صبر کا حق ہے وہ ادا کرتی ہے جو صبر کا حق ہے وہ ادا کرتی ہے گھوڑوں پہ جو وہ دونوں پر ارمان چڑھے کہتی ہے کہ بیٹے میرے پروان چڑھے کہتی ہے کہ بیٹے میرے پروان چڑھے کہتے تھے ہم یہ کیا کرتی ہو دیکھو اکبر کو میرے بھیجو انہیں رن میں نہ بھیجو وہ کہتی ہے صدقے گئے تم اس میں نہ بولو زینب نے اسی دن کے لیے پالا تھا ان کو زینب نے اسی دن کے لیے پالا تھا تم تو انہیں رن میں نہیں بھجواتے ہو بھائی کس لیے ہم شیر سے شرماتے ہو بھائی پھر کس لیے ہم شیر سے شرماتے ہو بھائی جوانے کا اکبر کے نہ تم نام لبویا اکبر کی بلا ان کو لگے وہ رہے جیتا اول تو وہ ہم شکل نبی حسن میں لگتا اور دوسرے زینب کو ہے سیر کی تمنا آسان مجھے بیٹوں کا ان میں کوئی 18 برس کا تو نہیں ان میں کوئی 18 برس کا تو نہیں یہ کہتی تھی کہ کچھ دھیان میں زینب کے جو آیا اپنے جگر گوشوں کو خیمے میں بلائے جو سر بیچ میں اکبر کو بٹھایا اور ان کو گرد ان کے کئی بار پھرا باقی جو محمد تھا یہ رتبہ دیا اس کو کہ ورائے اصغر پہ تصدق کیا اس کو کہ ورائے اصغر پہ تصدق کیا اکبر و اصغر کے بنے جاتے وہم کے صدقے کو نہیں ہاتھ لگا صدقے گئی بن کے یہ دلہا گیا تم شوق سے بیٹوں کو میرے خیمے میں مر جائیں تو مقتلی مجھے چھوڑائیو بھائی لاشوں کو میرے گھر میں نہ تم لائیو بھائی لاشوں کو میرے گھر میں نہ تم لائیو
مرزا سے کہا بیٹے میرے خیر ہوئے کیا؟ بولی کہ کچھ سنیے کہ کیا کہتے ہیں آقا، بولی کہ یہ کہتے ہیں سن کیا کہتے ہیں آقا، لشکر کی صفیں چیر کے دو روز کے پیاسے دریا پہ گئے ساقی کوثر کے نواز، دریا پہ گئے ساقی کوثر کے نواز، پی لیا پانی تو بس اب گھر میں نہ آنا، اب شکل بھی مجھ کو نہ دیکھا نہ دیکھا، اب سر بھی میرے بھائی کی خاطر نہ کٹا، راحت کے عوض یہ بھی نہ تم صدمہ اٹھا، مر جاؤ گے تم گود میں لاجو کو نہ لوں گے، ہم تمہیں روئیں گے میں روؤں گی، معمول میں روئیں گے تو میں رونے نہ دوں گی، ایسا ہوئے خیمے سے رواں جانے بے میدان، دیکھتی ہے نہر پہ ہے فوج فراوان، زینب کے جگر گوشوں پہ ہے تیروں کا بارہ، مانگا ہوا شور کے مشکل ہوئی آسان، لو جان لو دل دختر زہرا گئے مارے، روز کے پیاسے لبے دریا گئے مارے، دو روز کے پیاسے لبے دریا گئے مارے، امت پہ بے سر اپنے فدا کرتی ہے زینب۔
السلام علیکم۔ آپ سب سے گزارش ہے پلیز move forward as much as you can. We're expecting most people tonight, so you can with a loud salawat. بارے نیت نہ salawat. ایک مرتبہ پھر بلند آواز سے صلوات پڑھیں۔
والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وخاتم النبيين سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب قلوبنا بالقاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الغر الميامين المعصومين من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وخطابه المتين وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون. صلوات The topic of our discussion for the past few days is the purpose of our creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create this universe in vain. There is a purpose behind the creation of everything. Everything has a purpose behind it. And success or failure, your success and your failure, my success and my failure, will be determined by the fact that if I am fulfilling that purpose of creation or not. I've been designed for a purpose. If I fail to fulfill that purpose of mine, I would fail. I cannot say that I have succeeded in life. How do we define success? Success is not you able to accomplish the purpose you set up for your own self. You set a purpose for yourself. I want to become a billionaire. I want to become an engineer, a doctor, a businessman. That is the purpose you have set for yourselves. And if you accomplish that, people think they have achieved success. But is this true success? What did the people, what did the disbelievers of Mecca wanted to accomplish? They wanted to assassinate the Holy Prophet. That was the objective they had set for themselves. And had they accomplished that purpose, would we call them to be successful in life? No. So true success is not you meeting or fulfilling or achieving the purpose you set up for yourselves. So what is then success? What is true success? What is ultimate success? Ultimate success is you fulfilling the purpose that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you for. That is what is true success. So if you want to see if you have succeeded in life, you'll have to find out what is the purpose of your creation. And then live your life according to that purpose of creation. And if you are able to live your life according to that purpose of creation, only then can you say when leaving this world, Fusto bi Rabbil Kaaba. Only then you can say, I'm leaving as a successful person. Why? Because your life and your death were according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you. What is it that Allah wants from us? Why did He create us? The Holy Quran discloses the purpose of mine and your creation, the creation of the jinns. And what is that? وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We have created you and the jinns for worship of Allah. Now Allah cannot be worshipped. I'm just reviewing and summarizing what we have discussed so far for those who are new today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be worshipped if you do not know Him. One of the prerequisites of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the tradition by Imam Hussain alayhi salam, when he entered when he came to his companions, he said, Ya ayyuhan nas, O people, inna Allah, verily Allah, as zikru, lofty is His zikr, ma khalaqal ibad illa liya'rifuhu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create His servants except for the reason that they should know Him. They should have His marifah. The Quran is saying Allah created us for His worship. The Imam is saying that Allah created you for His marifah, to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is the link between the two? The second phrase of the same tradition says, فَإِذَا عَرَفُوهُ عَبَدُوهُ. When they will know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will worship Him. They will worship. So ma'rifat of Allah, knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the prerequisite for worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you want our kids to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't have to command them to worship. You have to introduce God to them. God needs to be introduced to them. And the moment they will have the ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَإِذَا عَرَفُوهُ عَبَدُوهُ, they will begin to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the ways, you're all getting this from the traditions of the Imam, one of the ways of loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of having the ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, comes from this tradition where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals to Prophet Musa alayhi salam, Habibni ila khalqi, make my creation love me. And what did Hazrat Musa reply? Kayfa afalu zalik? How can I do that? I don't have control over their hearts. What did the reply came? Zakkirhum alai wa ni'man. Remind them of my blessings and my ni'mat, liyuhibbuni, so that they should love me. So remembering the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even blessings as simple as the table salt that we use every day, even we should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the little blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. So remembrance of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will result in that love. That will result in us and our children worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs to be introduced. That is how we should be introducing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we see that over and over repeated in the Holy Quran. We should not introduce Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a wicked creature ready and waiting to punish you. There is no reason to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Should one fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why do we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah is such a perfect being that one can only love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can only love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then why do we say, fear Allah? Why do we fear Allah? Is Allah something to be feared? Yes or no? No. Then why do we say fear Allah? Why are you afraid of Allah? Because of His adl, because of His justice. What is the dua? There's a statement, beautiful phrase in Dua Joshin Kabir, La yukhafu illa adluh. Allah, that He is not feared except for His justice. Wala yurja illa fazluh. And He is not hoped for except for His fazl. We hope for His fazl and we are afraid of His justice. You can turn back to me and ask the same question. Why should we fear His justice? Justice is good. Do you not want justice to be implemented in this world? Yes. Is the Imam not going to implement justice? So why do we fear His justice? Why should one fear His justice? It goes back to what the brother mentioned. Why do we fear His justice? Because if justice was to be executed, our actions are such that we would end up in hellfire. So it is not His justice that we fear. It is not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we fear. It is the outcome of our actions that we should fear. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is something to be loved. And look at how Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam introduces Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to his opponents. He says, Alladhi khalaqani fahuwa yahdini. He is the one who created me and then guided me. Huwa khalaqani. Alladhi khalaqani fahuwa yahdini. Walladhi huwa yut'imuni wa yusqini wa yasqini. He is the one who feeds me and who quenches my thirst. The remembrance of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who feeds me when I'm hungry and who quenches my thirst when I'm thirsty. وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِي. And when I am sick, it is He who gives me shifa. وَالَّذِي يُمِيتُنِي وَيُحْيِينِي. He is the one who is going to make me die. He's the one who's going to bring me back to life. And not only that, وَالَّذِي أَطْعَمُ أَن يَغْفِرَ لِي خَطِيئَتِي يَوْمَ الدِّينِ. And He is the one that I anticipate that He is going to forgive me all of my sins on the day of judgment. This is the introduction that Prophet Ibrahim is introducing. The introduction is giving about God. He's the one who created me. He's the one who feeds me. He's the one who quenches my thirst. He's the one who is going to cure me when I get sick. He's the one who is going to make me die and bring me back to life. He's the one who is going to forgive me my sins on the day of judgment. Who does not want such a God? Who does not want to worship? Yes, we all want such a God, such a perfect God, who is all forgiving, who is all going to forgive. So it is important how you introduce God to your children and to yourselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not something to be feared. It is the result of our actions that we have to fear. So ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the prerequisite of the purpose of creation, which is ibadat. And one of the conditions of ibadat is, what is one of the conditions? Yesterday you mentioned that what makes your act an act of ibadat? Niyat. It is your intention that makes your act an act of worship. You're all sitting here, it's an act of ibadat. Why? So when will this sitting become an act of ibadat? When you have the intention. What intention? What is niyat? Niyat consists of two components. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you're doing? And secondly, why is it that you're doing? If I was to ask to any one of you, what are you doing here? Say, we're listening to a majlis. All of you would say that. But that is not enough for this sitting of yours to be counted as an act of worship. The next question that you should answer, and you should ask yourselves, why are you here? What and why? Why are you here? Why did you go to any other center? Why did you choose this center? Why are you not in the mall? Why here? It is this why that will define your niyyah and your intention. What is your purpose? If you're here because you got an invitation from someone, and if you don't come to this center today, he's going to be upset, for example. So then that is your driving force. That is your driving factor. So your niyyat is defined way before you start your action. Why did I choose this topic today? Why did I choose this community over another community? If the reason for choosing this community over another community is because this is a big community and I'm going to become popular and famous, if I choose this topic, people are going to be entertained and they will be happy, then it does not matter. I'm doing this fi sabilillah, I'm doing this for the sake of Allah. It is not for the sake of Allah. It will not be for the sake of Allah. So my intention for delivering this speech was decided when I chose the topic for this speech. The intention was, jo marzi aap kahe ab, main khuda ke liye kar raha hu. Nahi. It was already decided. When you invite one speaker over the other, when you choose one speaker over the other, what is the criteria behind it? That defines your niyyat. Do you want to be popular? Do you want more people to come? Or do you want the right message to be delivered? That will define your niyyat, and that will decide whether it is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or whether it is for the sake of people. whether it's for the sake of other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do you hold a majlis? Why do you have a center? It all depends on answering. If you want to find out, answer this question. Don't answer this question, what is it that I am doing? Yes, you are holding a ceremony, you are holding a majlis for Imam Hussain alayhi salam. But your niyat is not defined by the answer to the question, what is it that you're doing? It is defined by answering the question, why is it that you're doing? And that is the component of niyat that is missing. That needs a constant reminder. We need to evaluate our niyat on a regular basis, every moment, because sometimes we start our actions with sincerity of intention. We start the majlis for the sake of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, for the sake of Allah. But then eventually it can happen that shaitan can come and corrupt our niyat. That can happen. That is something to watch out for. It is our niyyah that will determine the sawab, the reward that you get for your actions. Apart from your ma'rifah. Day one we mentioned the result, the sawab, the reward of your action depends on the level of your ma'rifah. The higher the ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the same 2 rakat namaz is going to have a higher reward. The ma'rifah of Imam Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam is touching skies. Our ma'rifah is limited. So that is a difference in reward. Same 2 rakat prayers, but there's a great difference in sawab. The level, the niyat, the more pure your intention is, the higher the reward is. So we need to continuously work towards purifying our niyyah. The more pure your niyyat is, the more for the sake of Allah your niyyat is, the higher the reward for the sake action is. And in tradition we have beautiful statements like Niyyatul mu'min khayrun min amaleh. The niyyat of a mu'min is better than his action. But Niyyatul kafir sharrun min amaleh. The niyyat of a kafir is worse than his action. And I left yesterday all of you with this question. Why is it the niyyat of a mu'min? You have the niyyat to go to Arba'in this year. Inshallah, may Allah bless this ziyarah to all of us. This niyyat is better than you're going to Arba'in. This niyyat of walking from Karbala to Najaf, from Najaf to Karbala is better than your actual walk. Why? That is an action. This is only an intention. The tradition says Niyyatul mu'min khayrun min amaleh. It is better than his action. And the niyyat of a kafir intends to destroy Islam. He intends to kill a person or do a bad deed. Allah says his intention is worse than his action. He hasn't even killed the person. He hasn't even destroyed anyone. He hasn't even damaged anything. His intention is worse than his action. Why? Why is it that intention is so valuable, is so critical, that it dictates the nature of the action? There can be many different answers to this question. Niyyatul mu'min khayrun min amaleh. Niyat, one. Niyat is the action of the soul, of the heart. And the amal is the action of the body. So the action of the heart is superior to the action of the body. Remembrance by heart of Allah by heart is better than remembering Allah by the tongue and by the hands. Even other actions, even our salat, is for the remembrance of Allah, which is an act of the soul. So because it is the act of the soul is more valuable and more important than the act of the body. Same goes with the act niyat of the kafir. Another reason why it could be so is that is the root of your action. That is the basis of your action. That is the root. Jar hai aapke amal ki. And the roots are always more valuable than the tree. But the tree survives because of the roots. Because of the roots. That's why it is important. Another reason could be the fact that whenever you have an intention to do something, good or bad, The intention is always perfect and more pure than the actual action. It's true. You have the intention to go to the Hawza, to become a mujtahid. The intention is pure, the drive is there, but not everybody will become a mujtahid. You have the intention to walk from Najaf to Karbala, but not everybody will be able to do that. Not everybody will be able to do that sincerely. Your actions will always be tainted with certain level of sincerity. But your niyat is not like that. The disbelievers in Mecca on the night of Hijrah, what was their niyyah? When they gathered around the house of the Holy Prophet, what was their niyyah? To kill the Holy Prophet. They were not able to accomplish that. The niyyat is worse. Because that was their niyyah. It is your niyyah that defines eternity in heaven or hell. You all have this question, and our youth have this question in particular, and the adults as well. You live in this world for 60 years, for 50 years, you sin for 60 years, God forbid, or you do good deeds for 50 years. As a result, you'll go to heaven and stay in heaven forever. Or God will throw people in hell and they will stay in hell forever. But he did bad things only for only 50 years. Why should he stay in hell forever? Is that just? Why an act done that takes 1 hour or half an hour be punished by eternity in hellfire? When the Imam was asked this question, why is it that Allah is going to keep certain people in hell forever and certain people in heaven forever? The Imam replied, because of their intentions. And then he explains, he said, it is because those who did good in this world, their intention was such that if they live in this world forever, they would continue to do those good deeds for eternity. And those who did bad deeds in this dunya, their intention was that if they live in this dunya forever, they would continue to do those bad deeds. So it is their intentions that are going to result them in staying in heaven or hell forever. So it is just. So it is justice of Allah. There is nothing wrong with it. Your intentions determine your results. That is why it says, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالِ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Your intention with Hazrat Jabir bin Abdullah Ansari, the statement we mentioned yesterday, what did he say on the day of Arba'in? He said, I've heard the Holy Prophet say, Man, whoever, please write salawat. Man ahabba qawman, whoever loves a nation, hushira ma'ahum, he will be resurrected with him. Wa man ahabba amala qawmin, whoever loves the action of a nation, ushrika fi amalihim, he has taken part in their actions. Saying when he was addressing Imam Muharram, saying that we have taken part in all of your struggles. We have taken part with you in the battle of Karbala. And his servant asked him, but you were not in Karbala. You did not go to Sham, you did not go to Darbar, you did not suffer. How can you be with Imam Hussain and share in his difficulties? He said, I've heard the Holy Prophet saying that whoever loves the action of a nation is as if he has parted. He's taken part in what they have gone through. So I wanted to be with them in whatever they went through. And that is why I am sharing with them. So the niyyat is what defines, what makes your action an act of worship. And the purity of your niyyah will tell you, will reveal to you the level, the thawab of your actions. Can we always tell or be sure of the sincerity or purity of our intentions? Is it possible? Sometimes we might be doing an action not realizing when our niyyat got corrupted. It can happen. as I gave the example yesterday, a person praying in the first rakat, first row of the Jamaat every day for 40 years, and one day he was late. He got a spot in the third row, and then when he said Allahu Akbar, Takbiratul Ihram, the thought came to his mind, today people will say that my record has been broken. I've been doing majlis for the last 40 years. Are you making a record here? If that, so sometimes we don't know. Maybe we started off honestly. Now we are after a record. I'm the first one who started majlis in this community. These actions, disclosing, can affect past actions. This is rare. They can destroy the value of an action done out of sincerity. So sometimes we fail to realize how pure our action is or was. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. It's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who can testify to the purity of an action. So I don't know, I cannot judge the actions of the companions of the Holy Prophet, because I don't know their intention. Inshallah, all of them had good intentions. It is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who knows and can disclose the sincerity, the level of sincerity. Why? Because it's Alimul Ghaib wa Shahada. And his testimony will prevail over individual claims. So in order to evaluate the success of a person, in order to evaluate your position, you need to figure out the level of your ma'rifah. The higher the ma'rifah, the higher the ibadat. You need to figure out the sincerity of your intention. The higher the sincerity, the higher the reward. Now let us come to the most important point. What is the essence of ibadat? Ibadat ki haqiqat kya hai? What is the essence of your worship? Which is the purpose of our creation? What is the purpose of our creation? Ibadat. So what is ibadat? What is ibadat? Goodness. Yesterday we had this discussion about, is knowledge better or is wealth better? Knowledge, right? And we had a detailed tradition from the Imam alayhi salam. Today, let me ask you this question. There's one person who goes to gain knowledge, and there's another person who's gone to gather wealth. Who is better? Exactly, it depends. You cannot say he's better than him or he's better than him. It will now depend on the intention. What is the intention? If his intention is to gather knowledge and then come back to the community and boast of his knowledge and control people and do speeches and show his superiority, his ilmi superiority over others, he has actually bought a spot for himself in the hellfire. The tradition says that you have actually bought a seat for yourself in the hellfire. And if this other person who's after wealth, you ask him this question, why are you gaining wealth? Why are you earning or amassing wealth? And he says, well, I want to build a hospital, I want to build a masjid, I want to give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he is not after his dunya, he is after his akhirah. And this person is not after his akhirah, he's after his dunya. So it is his intention that is going to define which act is better. You understand the importance of intention, how pure and how important purifying our niyat is. And this is an ongoing process. And niyat and this sincerity of intentions can have different levels. What did Amir al-Mu'minin Islam say? He says, He said, Inna awman abadullah rahbatan. There's a group of people who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of the fear of hellfire. Fatilka ibadatul tujjar. This is ibadat, yes. Because Allah has scared us from the hellfire, so it is still because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this is the ibadat of the slaves. Inna qawman abadullaha raghbatan. There is a group of people who worship Allah out of the desire or greed of the heaven. This is also ibadat. Fatilka ibadatul tujjar. This is the ibadat of the servants, the slaves, of the businessmen. The businessmen. And then he said, Inna qawman abadullaha shukran. There's another group who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? To thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done for them. Fatilka ibadatul ahrar. This is the ibadat of the free person. So there are levels of ibadat. There are levels of ibadat. You can fall in any one of these levels, and in whichever level you fall, that will determine the level of the value and the arzation, sawab of your ibadat. There's a story that there was this person, an arif, who used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His neighbor saw a dream, and in his dream, he saw that this person has been sent to the hellfire. He woke up and he said, well, this could be a wrong dream. How could this person go to hellfire? Such a pious person. The next day, he saw the same dream. This person, on the day of judgment, he has been sentenced to hellfire. He ignored it the second day. On the third day, he saw the same dream. The same dream for straight 3 days. There is something behind it. So he went to that person, his neighbor, and he said, you know, your ibadat are no good. Your ibadat, they're not going to take you to heaven. I saw this dream. And for 3 consecutive days, the same dream, you have been sentenced to hellfire. So just wrap up your musalla and go do something else. Right? He turned back to him. He said, well, it's Allah's job to judge. It's my job to worship. Whether I go to heaven or I go to hell, my job is to worship Him. It does not matter that if it is told to me that you are going to be sentenced to hell, that I should stop worshipping Him. So this person is not worshipping Allah because of the fear of hellfire or for the sake of the heaven. That very same night, when this neighbor slept again, he saw that on the day of judgment, and this person is being sent to heaven. So it is, are we at that level where if it is disclosed to us that we are going to end up in hell, would we still continue to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Would we still continue to make all the sacrifices we are making? Or would we say, well, it's done, it's a done deal, so what's the point? Right? So what is the haqiqat, what is the essence of ibadat, which is expected of us, which is the purpose of our creation? What is that? Is it salat, hajj, zakat? What is ibadat? Submission is one good answer. What is ibadat?
Brother has all the answers.
MashaAllah. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Iblis and all the angels to submit and to prostrate before Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, and they all prostrated, and Iblis did not. And Allah asked him, why did you not prostrate? He gave an interesting reply or interesting suggestion. He said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive me this one sajda, this one order of yours, forgive me. And instead, what is it that I'm going to do? Inni a'buduka ibadatan lam ya'budkaha malakun muharrab or nabiyyun mursal. I'm going to worship you, I'm going to make an ibadat for you instead of this sajda. Excuse me, this sajda, don't let me do this sajda, and instead I'm going to make a worship. I'm going to worship you in a manner that no angel or no prophet of yours has ever done before. Beautiful offer. What did Allah reply? He said, La hajata li ila ibadatik. I don't need your worship. Inni uridu an ubad min haythu urid, la min haythu turid. I want to be worshipped the way I want, not the way you want. I want to be worshipped the way I want, not the way you want. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had accepted his request his proposal, whose word got implemented? It is he who's being worshipped then. Who is it that you listen to? Who is it that you are obedient to? That is the essence of ibadat. That is the essence of worship. If you want to pray, you have to pray the way Allah wants it from you. The way Allah wants it from you. You cannot add or delete parts of it. And if you do that, who are you worshipping? You don't fool anybody. You are worshipping your own self. You cannot add or delete. How do you want to, if you want to do worship of Allah, if you want this majlis to be worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it has to be done in the way that our imams want it to be done. If it is done in any other manner, it is not worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will be worshipping ourselves. When in the palace of Yazid, Yazid ordered his speaker to go on the pulpit and curse the Imam, Amir Muhammad Islam and his progeny. At the end, what did the Imam Sajjad al-Islam said to him? He said, Wayhak, be silent, woe unto you. You have sold your akhirah for the sake of dunya. You have pleased, you have annoyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to please His creation. And then he turned to Yazid and he said, will you allow me to ascend this wooden structure and arqa hazil a'wad and deliver a sermon and say something in which fihe rizan lillah, there is the riza of Allah and there's ajr and sawab for all of these who are listening. He gave two very important components of whoever ascends the pulpit of Rasulullah. He should say something in which there is riza of Allah in whatever is being said. And secondly, there will be ajr and sawab for those who are listening. That are two important components. And if that is not done, then that he did not even say, allow me to ascend this pulpit of Rasulullah. And arka hazil awad, allow me to ascend this wooden structure. Meaning that this pulpit, from where these two conditions are not met, is not worthy of being called the pulpit of Rasulullah. It's not a member of Rasulullah. So the essence of our worship is ibadat, is submission to Allah. Do what Allah wants you to do. If He wants you to make peace treaty, you make peace treaty. If He wants you to go and shed your blood in the battlefield, that's what you do. You do not act on your own personal whims. You do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do. That is the essence of obedience. Now let us look at who are those people who fulfill their purpose of creation to the highest degree, who could have said or who have the qualification to say Fusto Birabbil Kaaba. You have to look at their ma'rifah. What is the level of their ma'rifah? You will have to look at the sincerity of their intention. And who can tell you, who can testify to the sincerity of a person's intention other than he himself? Would you trust my sincerity of intention if I say I'm sincere? God knows. So you have to look at the ma'rifah of that person, and you have to check the sincerity of intention by seeing if God has testified to his sincerity of its intention. And that you can only find in the Holy Quran. If there are verses that talk about the sincerity of intention of certain individuals, and we do find those. When you look at the level of their ma'rifah, we find Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam saying this statement. If the curtains are removed, it will not increase me in my yaqeen. This is the level of his ma'rifah. This is the level of his ma'rifah. And if you want a testimony of his sincerity of intention, look at the verse of Surah Al-Ata, when for 3 days they fasted consecutively. On the first day, they gave away all their food to a yatim. On the second day, they gave, after a day of fasting, whatever they had to a miskeen. On the third day, to an asir. Was that done with sincerity of intention? Only Allah can tell. The Holy Quran expresses, discloses their actions, saying, and discloses their statement, saying, إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمَكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. يطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وعسيرا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. We have done this, Allah is narrating them, saying we have done this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't want any jaza and any shukr from you. Here we find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala testifying to the sincerity of intention of Amirul Mu'mineen and his household, that we have done this liwajhillah. And when you find a testimony from the Holy Quran, then there is no doubt after that. So those people who have attained such a station that their marifat cannot be increased any further if the curtains are removed and the sincerity of intention has been stamped by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then these are the people who would have attained a station that whatever they do will become an act of God. Their eyes are no longer their eyes. Their eyes will become Ainullah. Their hands are no longer their hands. They will become Yadullah. Their feet are no longer their feet. They will become Rijlullah. Their face is no longer their face. It will become Wajhullah. Everything that's related to them will become an act of ibadat. Looking at them will become an ibadat. Looking at them, talking about them will become an ibadat. Zikr of them will become an ibadat. Loving them will become an ibadat. Hating their enemies will become an ibadat. Doing the zikr of their fazail will become an ibadat. Doing the zikr of their musaib will become an ibadat. Anything associated with them will become an act of worship. Why? Because nothing is theirs now. Nothing is theirs now. Everything belongs to God. Everything that they do is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no I anymore. There is no I. There is only Allah now. That is why it's Yadullah. That's why they're Ainullah, they're Uzulullah, they're Lisanullah, they're Wajhullah, Hubbuhu ibadah, Zikruhu ibadah. Anything related to them, listening to them, sitting in a gathering in which their zikr is done is ibadah. Why? Because of their marifah. Because of the sincerity of intention. And the same we see in Karbala. The level of the marifah of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. The sincerity of intention is not there for any worldly gains. He is there for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is what made it easy for him to bear all of those difficulties. Why? Because it was for the sake of Allah. Even the greatest of the Masa'ib on the day of Ashura became easy on Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Why? Allah. Because Allah is watching. It is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the day of judgment, on the day of Ashur, the books of Maqtal narrate that when the companions of the Imam wanted to go to the battlefield, they had a unique style of seeking permission. They would come to the Imam, look at the Imam, greet the Imam with these words, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. The Imam would understand that this person is seeking the permission to go to the battlefield. He would look at him and he would say, he would grant him the permission to go to the battlefield with these words, وَنَحْنُ خَلْفَقْ. We are going to follow you soon. We'll be with you soon. He would go to the battlefield, one after the other. The companions of the Imam entered the battlefield, fought bravely, and sacrificed their lives defending the Imam of their time. till the time came that the Imam was left all by himself. There's no one left now. The Imam decided to sacrifice his final ni'mat that was left. It was his wujud, his existence, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He went to the battlefield, he advised and he admonished them. And now as he's going to sacrifice himself, there is no one to defend the haram of the Ahlul Bayt. There's no one to defend the children and the ladies in the tents. So he cries and he shouts at the enemy, "Hal min dhabbin yadubbu an harami Rasulullah?" Is there anyone who is willing to defend the household of the Holy Prophet? "Hal min dhabbin yadubbu an harami Rasulullah?" And when he raised his voice, the ladies in the tent started to cry. There was weeping and lamenting coming from the camps. The Imam turned back to the camps. He went there, the ladies came out of the camps. The Imam asked them, "Why are you crying? I just bade farewell to you. I just said goodbye to you. Why have you started to weep and cry?" He said, when he raised the voice, "Hal min dhabbin yadubbu an harami Rasulullah?" Ali Asghar starts to shiver. He started to tremble in his cradle. Ali Asghar apne gehware mein tarap gaye. He said, "Bring my child, let me say a final goodbye to him. Navilini walid as-saghir. Bring my little child to me, let me say him goodbye." He took Ali Asghar in his hands. He went to the battlefield. According to one tradition, he went to the battlefield. He then again addressed the enemy. He said, "Bayni, bayna wa baynakum kitabullah, wa jaddi Muhammad Rasulullah." The holy book of Allah, by the holy book of Allah, and my grandfather, the holy prophet. Lima tastahilluna dami. What is it? Why is it that you consider my shedding my blood to be halal? What is it that I have done? Why is shedding my blood halal? Have you not heard the Holy Prophet say this? Hazan Sayyidani Shababi Ahlil Jannah. These two are the Sayyid, are the commanders of the youth of the paradise. There was no reply. They did not give him any reply. Then he turned to them and he said, "In lam tarhamuni farhamu hadha tifl." If you do not show mercy on me, at least have mercy on this little child. Fasquhu sharbatan min al-ma. At least give him a drop of water. If you think Hussein is going to drink water, give him a drink of water. How much water does a child need? Give him a drop of water. It was this very moment where he also remembered all of his Shias, all of the Mu'mineen. Laytakum fi yawm Ashura jamiyan. He says, "I wish you were all there on the day of judgment, oh my Shias, oh my lovers. I hope and I wish that all of you, Laytakum fi yawm Ashura jamiyan. I wish all of you were there on the day of judgment." Why? Oh Maula, why should we be there? We would like to help in bringing the janazah of Ali Akbar. We like to sacrifice ourselves on you, but this is not why the Imam is remembering you. He says, "Laytakum fi yawm Ashura jamiyan tanzuruni," so that you could see كيف استسقى لطفلي فأبوا أن يرحموني. You should at least have seen how I was begging for water for my 6-month-old, and they still did not show any mercy. How I was begging for water. This is where you are crying. You do cry. You are going to shed tears over me, but you have not seen anything. You will cry by listening to my Messiah. I wish you were here on the day of judgment, and you would have seen how I was begging for water. And the reply that came, Ibn Ziyad sensed that at the end there is a revolution in the making. The soldiers said, "Why are we not giving him water? He's only a child. What harm can he possibly do? Let us give him water." Ibn Ziyad sensed that there is a revolution in the making. So he ordered Hurmala, Kalam al-Hussein. Stop Hussein's speech. Finish off his speech. Hurmala put his arrow in the bow. He did not know what to do. He said, "What should I do? Where should I aim? Should I aim at Hussein or should I aim at the little child?" Ibn Ziyad says, "Don't you see the white shining neck of the child? Don't you see the safedi, the whiteness of the neck of the child?" He aimed at the arrow, Ali Asghar got slaughtered in front of the father. He took the blood in his fist, in his hands. What should he do? He threw the blood towards the sky, saying, turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you are in a difficult situation, how do you appease yourself? You want to talk to somebody, you want to shed your tears, you want to talk to somebody. Who should Hussein talk to? There is no one. The best person to talk to is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam Hussein turns to Allah and he says, Hawwana alayya ma nazala bi. Whatever musaib, whatever difficulties I am facing is easy on me. Why? Annahu bi'aynillah. Because it is in front of Allah's eyes. Because Allah is watching this. This was a very difficult moment, but it is easy on Hussein. Why? Because Allah is watching it. میں کہوں گا مولا حسین یہ مرحلہ آپ کے لیے آسان تھا لیکن ابھی اس کے بعد ایک اور سخت مرحلہ رہتا ہے. جب ابو خلیق کو گرفتار کر کے مختار کے سامنے پیش کیا گیا, مختار نے کہا کہ ابو خلیق تو نے بہت ظلم کی ہے کربلا میں, کیا کربلا میں کوئی ایسا موقع آیا کہ تجھے حسین پر رحم آیا ہو, تو حسین کے لیے رویا ہو؟ کہا ہاں مختار, ایک وقت ایسا آیا تھا کہ میں بھی حسین پر رویا تھا. کہا وہ کون سا وقت تھا؟ کہا وہ وقت تھا جب حسین کا ششماہا حسین کے ہاتھوں پہ ذبح ہو چکا تھا. میرا مولا حسین نے بچے کے جنازے کو اپنی عبا سے ڈھانپ لیا. ایک مرتبہ خیمے کی طرف جانا چاہتے ہیں, کہنے لگا میں نے دیکھا خیمے کے دروازے پر ایک بی بی کھڑی انتظار کر رہی ہے. میں سمجھ گیا یہ علی اصغر کی ماں ہے. جب حسین کی نگاہ بچی کی ماں پہ پڑی, چلتے چلتے حسین کے قدم رک جاتے ہیں. حسین پلٹتے ہیں میدان کی طرف, انا للہ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. پھر خیمے کی طرف جاتے ہیں, اِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. پھر رک جاتے ہیں. کہا اس وقت مجھے حسین پر بہت رحم آیا, اس وقت میں بہت رویا کہ کس طرح حسین اس بچے کے جنازے کو ماں کی گود میں ڈالے. میں کہوں گا مادر علی اصغر جناب ام رباب, حسین کے لیے مشکل ہے بچے کے جنازے کو آپ کی گود میں ڈال دیں. آپ آگے بڑھئے, مولا سے کہیے مولا اگر میرا بیٹا سیراب ہو گیا, اگر میرا بیٹا سو گیا تو یہ جھولا حاضر ہے, بے جنازے کو جھولے میں ڈال دیجئے.
ماتب حسین
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین آگے آگے حسین یا 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 حسین یا
میرا سحر والا اکبر اکبر,
میرا سحر والا اکبر اکبر, میرا سحر والا اکبر اکبر, میرا سحر والا اکبر.
اپنے دل کے دکھاؤں میں کیسے, اپنے دل کے
دکھاؤں میں کیسے, تیرا لاشا اٹھاؤں میں کیسے اکبر. میرا سحر والا اکبر اکبر, میرا سحر والا اکبر.
جب پہنچے دل کو ہاتھوں سے تھام کر بولے, میری فرقات علی اکبر. آگ دل میں میرے لگاتی ہے آگ دل کی
بجھاؤں میں کیسے آگ دل کی بجھاؤں میں کیسے تیرا لاشا بجھاؤں میں کیسے اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر
تمہیں گڑیل جوان ہے بیٹا باپ تیرا ضعیف ہے کتنا برے آنکھوں کا ہوگا تارک سب مجھ کو آتا نہیں نظر خیمہ کہ خیموں میں جاؤں میں کیسے
خیموں میں جاؤں میں کیسے تیرا لاشا بجھاؤں میں کیسے اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر
نے 18 سال پالا تھا کیسے دیکھے کہ وہ تیرا لاشا تیری شادی کا تھا جسے ارمان کیسے جھیلے کہ وہ تیرا صدمہ تیری ماں کو بتاؤں میں کیسے
تیری ماں کو بتاؤں میں کیسے تیرا لاشا بتاؤں میں کیسے اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر
کہ آیا ہے کاش دے صبح جگتی ہے وہ دکھی بہنا تجھ کو بیمار نے بلایا ہے وعدہ صبح کیوں بلا ڈالا ہم یہ دل سے لگاؤں میں کیسے
دل سے لگاؤں میں کیسے تیرا لاشا بتاؤں میں کیسے اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر
بھائی بہنوں کا ہے عجب رشتہ جس کا ثانی کہیں نہیں ملتا جو کہ سبران نے یہ لکھا اکبر ایک دکھیا علاج رکھ لینا مر گیا تو بتاؤں میں کیسے
مر گیا تو بتاؤں میں کیسے تیرا لاشا بتاؤں میں کیسے اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر اکبر میرا شہر والا اکبر
علی اکبر علی اکبر شفیع پیغمبر اکبر شفیع پیغمبر اکبر بابا احسان شفیع پیغمبر اکبر شفیع پیغمبر اکبر بابا احسان یہ صدق پیغمبر کی لیلت کی کمائی ہے
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 کیا مادر اکبر نے تقدیر یہ پاتی ہے
کیا مادر اکبر نے تقدیر یہ پاتی ہے
کیا مادر اکبر نے تقدیر یہ پاتی ہے علی خیمے میں بپا ماتم خیمے میں بپا ماتم ہے میرے جمع اکبر بابا میں کام
یہ پیغمبر اکبر یہ پیغمبر اکبر بابا میں کام یہ پیغمبر اکبر یہ پیغمبر اکبر بابا میں کام
آئے گا کلیجے پہ جس وقت سینہ اکبر آئے گا کلیجے پہ جس وقت سینہ اکبر یہ تیری خبر سن کے مر جائے گی ماں اکبر تیری خبر سن کے مر جائے گی اکبر یہ تیری خبر سن کے مر جائے گی ماں اکبر خیموں میں بابا ماتم خیموں میں بابا ماتم میرے جمع اکبر بابا میدان شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر بابا میدان شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر بابا میدان بیٹا نہ کسی کا یوں مر جائے جوانی میں بیٹا نہ کسی کا یوں مر جائے جوانی میں ماتم کی صدایں ہیں موجوں کی روانی میں ماتم کی صدایں ہیں موجوں کی روانی میں ماتم کی صدایں ہیں دریا کی روانی میں بے بپا ماتم خیموں میں بپا ماتم ہے بے جمع اکبر بابا میدان شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر بابا میدان یہ نازک کا پالا ہے 18 برس والا یہ نازک کا پالا ہے 18 برس والا لیلا کا دلہا ہے 18 برس والا لیلا کا دلہا ہے 18 برس والا لیلا کا دلہا ہے 18 برس والا میرے بابا ماتم خیموں میں بابا ماتم ہے میرے جمع اکبر بابا میدان شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر بابا میدان کیسا یہ پیغمبر کا شبیر پہ دن آیا کیسا یہ قیامت کا شبیر پہ دن آیا کیسا یہ قیامت کا شبیر پہ دن آیا لوٹا گیا مقتل میں مظلوم کا سرمایہ لوٹا گیا مقتل میں مظلوم کا سرمایہ لوٹا گیا مقتل میں مظلوم کا سرمایہ خیموں میں بابا ماتم خیموں میں بابا ماتم ہے میرے جمع اکبر بابا میدان شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر بابا میدان شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر بابا میدان شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر شبیہ پیغمبر اکبر بابا میدان بابا میدان بابا میدان ہے بابا میدان بابا میدان
جوان ابھی تیرے مرنے کے دن نہ تھے اکبر جوان ابھی تیرے مرنے کے دن نہ تھے اپنے لہو میں آپ سنورنے کے دن نہ تھے اکبر جوان بھی تیرے مرنے کے دن نہ تھے اکبر جوان بھی تیرے مرنے کے دن نہ تھے اکبر جوان بھی تیرے مرنے کے دن نہ تھے اپنے لوگوں میں سنورنے کے دن نہ تھے اکبر جوان بھی تیرے مرنے کے دن نہ تھے اکبر جوان بھی تیرے مرنے کے دن نہ تھے کتا نہیں سینے سے تو خون روا